Ladies and gentlemen, here at HITP Music. We have Mass Apparel as always. I'm here with Fran P.
Yes, sir.
What's cracking, man?
Chilling, my man.
Chilling, word. So this interview's we planned to have this interview about a year or so ago, but you're taking the extra time working on your project.
Yeah, man.
But before we get into that, for the folks that might not be familiar with you, just talk a little bit about your background and your placement in the whole Boston hip hop scene here.
So I'm a part of AR Classic Records, born and raised out here in Boston. Let me think. Probably the last big project I put out was the Grayscales and the joint I did called Mutation that was based off of the Evolution project that the Archetype put out. I also put out the Proof project this last summer that did pretty well.
Dope. And the Mutation is actually the project that I came across you on.
Okay.
And that project was dope. Just talk about your relationship with the Bridge and Arc.
Alright, so I've known Arc almost 10 years now, roughly about 8. And it's actually a super funny story how we met. One of my best friends, Matt Burkle, knew the Archetype from back home. They're from the same town, right? And he knew I used to go to house parties and just be freestyling. My boy Matt was like, yo, we gotta get you in the studio and start recording.
Right.
So he was like, oh, I know this cat that lives on Newberry Street. Let's go see him, right? And I remember asking my homie, like, yo, do I have to bring money? He was like, nah, man, you good. Don't worry about it. We go to the studio. We were up there for like 2 hours, right? Then I see this dude printing out an invoice. And I'm like, yo, and it just happens that he had to go downstairs to get someone. And so me and my homie Matt is in the Archetype's living room, straight like, my dude, you told me I had to pay. Now this man's printing out an invoice. And so that was my first interaction with the Archetype and stuff like that. But ever since then, man, we've been building.
Did you have to pay?
My man Matt ended up paying.
Oh, okay.
Because he told me I didn't have to pay. And then he took care of it for me, man. Shout out to Matt Burkle out in the H-Town. But yeah, ever since then, you know what I mean? We worked on, I recorded all my projects with him. I was a part of the High Life crew. And I'm also part of AR Classics as well. So
Dope. And you guys are working on you're pretty much putting the finishing touches on your new project.
Yeah.
Pancho knows.
Yep.
Just talk about the title.
So the project is gonna be called Pancho. Pancho is a nickname for Francisco, and which is my first name. And the reason we went with that name is because it was a nickname that I didn't know was a nickname from my own name. So it's the whole idea that no matter how far you go in life, you're always learning something new about yourself, you know? And the Pancho Knows campaign is really just based off like all these little different topics that I might be able to touch on and know about, and how sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit on what we know. And we actually know more than what we think, basically.
Dope. Yeah, the little videos, I mean, it's such a simple idea, but I think it's dope, and especially for what you're trying to go for. It's nice to kind of see your insight and, you know, your thoughts about certain things, like, you know, just checking them out on Instagram and on Twitter. So
Definitely.
Keep it up. What can we expect as far as just like, you know, the whole concept and like features and just anything that can really give the listener something to prepare for?
I've been really lucky, man, really blessed to have all the folks that I've been able to work with on this project. You know, from the producer standpoint, you know, Latrell James, the Archetype, Rain, Twan, and from the MCs and the features perspective, got Rex, Avenue, Dion Chase, Mo Pope, Paranom. And if y'all don't know about Paranom, that kid's a beast. And what I'm expecting folks, or what folks should expect, is just storytelling, you know, and taking dope bars and dope beats and making music. Because we feel that it's important to create a body of work over just creating one song.
Sure.
Because that's what I grew up on, you know what I mean? I grew up listening to like Marvin Gaye and Ruben Blades and people like that put together projects of work. And we just want to take it back to that, basically.
That's important, man. Like I know everyone knows you can spit. If anyone's familiar with the Boston hip hop scene, you know we've done ciphers here, and just seeing you perform at the different venues, man. You can spit, but
Appreciate it.
you know, you're always gonna be judged by, you know, your body of work, and we've seen that with some of the guys that are, you know, just coming out of Boston and making noise. That it's, you know, everyone can have the hit single, have the buzzing single, but you gotta be able to, you know, create a project that's enjoyable from beginning to end. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I'm looking forward to definitely checking that out. And you know, from what, you know, talking to you, I think, you know, we're gonna get that.
Yeah, man, much appreciated. Definitely, we've been working on it and tweaking it for a while. So we're very excited, and I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people as far as the sound of the project.
Yeah. And when we talked off camera a couple days ago, you held something a little different than the typical listening party, which you'll have a traditional listening party later on, closer to the release of the project. But I could probably describe it as a focus group.
Yeah.
Where you had, you know, everyone that was involved in the project in the room, listen to the project. Just expand on, you know, you can expand in more detail what it was and kind of why you decided to have that particular, let's call it a focus group.
I think sometimes we forget when you're working on a project, you get so stuck in your own head that it's good to get second and third opinions on a piece of work.
Yeah.
Especially from people that understand what you're trying to achieve, and people that have contributed to the project and see how their pieces fit in with the other pieces. So I wanted to have an event where I got all those people in one room and hear all their perspectives. Because the goal is to put out the best project we can put out. And not putting myself before the work. The work comes before me.
Yeah.
You know, when you put this out into the world, you can never take it back. So once we put it out, let's make sure it's the best project we could put together.
Dope. And I think, you know, I think you might have just started a trend, because I mean, it's such a, you know, once again, it's a simple concept of, you know, getting everyone together that, you know, was part of the project. But it really makes sense to get feedback, because you might be able to make little, you know, tweaks here and there before you actually release it. Exactly. And actually get people's opinions that were part of it, you know, that it represents them as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have the project. When can we expect that?
We're shooting for like middle of May, late May, roughly.
A few months ago, you guys went to A3C.
Yeah.
And you guys recorded the Beantown Bullies DVD and the album to go along with that. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that experience, because that should be coming out later this year in the summer, right?
Definitely. It was something like I've never been a part of before. Who would have thought you would put roughly 14, maybe 15 MCs in one house and be able to have everyone work as a unit? And just having folks from different spectrums. You know, you have Term and Rex there, down to guys like myself. And just seeing how everyone was able to gel and everyone was able to build, and the show that we put on was pretty sick, because it started off slow, but then people were just walking down the street hearing what we were doing and coming inside, and by the end of the night we had a packed house.
Dope.
So it was a really, really dope experience.
Dope. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Anything else?
Be on the lookout for all the Pancho Knows videos. We got some more for y'all. And also, be on the lookout for the Noel Pancho video. I promise y'all, it's gonna be something that's y'all gonna be pleasantly surprised when we put that out.
We're definitely gonna support you.
My man.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you.
As a Gamble, Fran P, HITP Music, Master.
We out.